Who do you think you are, little girl? I'll make you disappear today, and no one will look for you." The officer shoved the woman, not knowing she was one of the most respected judges in the country. That afternoon, the sun beat mercilessly on a solitary road outside the city. The patrol car screeched to a halt, dust swirling. The woman in a simple dress barely turned before the officer slammed the door. "What are you doing here, little girl?" he barked, adjusting his sunglasses. "Nothing. Just walking." "Is there a problem, officer?" she replied calmly, holding a briefcase. He chuckled mockingly. "A problem? Yes. You, out here alone. What does that look like?" "Suspicious. And you people are always stealing, lying, trafficking." He spat at the ground. Her grip on the briefcase tightened. "I'm not doing anything illegal. Don't fool yourself. I decide that. I could take you away right now. No one would ask. Who would care about one more of your kind?" His voice dripped with contempt. Her steady gaze only enraged him further. He grabbed her arm. "What's wrong with you?" "Don't touch me," she snapped, but he shoved her hard against the patrol car. The metallic thump echoed across the empty road. "You think you're brave? People like you end up in body bags for raising your voice." His grip dug into her skin. "Let me remind you, you're worth nothing out here." Mustering her strength, she shoved him back. He stumbled, then grinned darkly. "Perfect. Now I can say you attacked me. No one will doubt me." He pulled out his handcuffs, letting them click menacingly. "You're going exactly where I say." Her pulse hammered. When he lunged again, she twisted, slipping her phone from her bag. Trembling, she pressed record and slid it into her coat pocket, the camera peeking through the fabric. A cold thought struck. This may be my last day alive. The officer noticed nothing. "You know the best part? I don't even need a reason. My word is enough." He yanked her arm violently, his face inches from hers. "I decide if you breathe another day." Her voice cracked but stayed steady. "You still have time to stop. You don't know who you're dealing with." His eyes narrowed, unsettled by her composure. "You dare lecture me?" He shoved her to the ground. Pain jolted through her knee, but she lifted her chin again. He circled like a predator. "Always the same trash, thinking you're equal to us. But you'll beg before this is over." She swallowed hard. For the first time, death felt close. "Still," she whispered, "you have no idea what mistake you're making." "A mistake," he sneered. "I told you, I'll erase you from the map. Not even God will find you." His shadow engulfed her as she muttered a desperate prayer under her breath. "Our Father, who art in heaven," he laughed cruelly. "Pray all you want. Today, I am your God." Her heart pounded. The hidden camera kept recording his threats. Suddenly, the officer's radio crackled. "Unit 23. Report immediately. Urgent case." He clenched his jaw, glaring at her with murderous indecision, then shoved her away. "You're lucky. Next time, choose carefully where you walk." He jumped into his patrol car and sped off, leaving a cloud of dust. She collapsed to her knees, trembling. Tears streamed down her face. "Thank you, God," she whispered between sobs. The road burned beneath her palms, but all she felt was the bitter taste of fear. Slowly, the trembling eased. Behind the fear, something harder emerged. Her hand slid into her coat. The recording was intact. Every word, every threat. She wiped her tears, pulled out her phone, and dialed. "It's me," she said, her voice breaking. "I need you to move fast." The tone on the other end shifted instantly to respect. Minutes earlier, she had been weeping like a victim, but now her voice sharpened with authority. "This is Judge Harrison," she said into a second call. "I want a complete report on Officer Patrick Rogers. Complaints, history, everything. On my desk before sunset." "Yes, Your Honor," came the crisp reply. She ended the call, leaning against the lone tree by the roadside. Her breath steadied, her eyes narrowing with cold determination. "You thought you could erase me," she murmured. "Now I will erase you." The sun blazed overhead, but she no longer felt weak. She walked slowly, each step deliberate, the officer's venomous words echoing in her mind. "Nobody will come looking for you." They repeated like poison, fueling something deeper than fear. Yet as she reached the edge of the road, her phone buzzed with a new message, one that would change everything she thought she knew about the officer and about the forces protecting him. She froze, staring at the screen, her heartbeat rising once more. Hours later, in her chambers, Judge Evelyn Harrison sat before a desk stacked with folders. Her contacts had worked quickly. Records, disciplinary reports, internal complaints, everything about Officer Patrick Rogers was there. She opened the first file without a word. Photographs of violent arrests, ignored testimonies, reports marked inconclusive. Each page confirmed the same truth. This man had been shielded by fear and silence for years. But now, he had crossed the wrong person. She closed her eyes. The memory of his words cut through the quiet. You still have time to regret it. At the time, it had been a plea. Now, it sounded like a warning she had given him. For her, that road had been the beginning of his sentence. And a judge's sentence never pardoned. 2 days later, at the precinct, Rogers was laughing with colleagues when a court assistant entered with a sealed envelope. Officer Rogers, the assistant said firmly. For you. Rogers tore it open carelessly, then froze. His face drained of color. Judicial notification. Mandatory subpoena. Abuse of authority. Threats. Criminal misconduct in service. His hands trembled. For the first time, the uniform that had always protected him felt like paper armor. This is a mistake, he muttered. But his voice cracked. Around him, silence spread. Some colleagues looked away. Others watched with quiet satisfaction, seeing arrogance collapse. The day of the hearing arrived. Rogers appeared in the most expensive suit he could afford, hair perfectly slicked back, clinging to the illusion of control. He sat on the defendant's bench, eyes fixed on the floor, praying it was a farce that would dissolve. Then the room fell silent. The presiding judge entered. Rogers lifted his eyes, and the ground vanished beneath him. It was her, the woman he had threatened on that sun-scorched road, the woman he had sworn to erase. Judge Harrison. She walked with calm authority, robes flowing, expression unshaken. She sat, opened the folder, and spoke in a voice that filled every corner of the chamber. Presented before the court, audiovisual evidence documenting death threats, abuse of authority, and discriminatory conduct by Officer Patrick H. Rogers. The screen flickered to life. His voice blared through the speakers, venomous and undeniable. I'm going to erase you from the map. Nobody will come looking for you. Gasps rippled across the courtroom. Rogers sank into his chair, sweat drenching his palms. Each word replayed was a blade slicing away the last of his confidence. The silence afterward was heavy, merciless. Judge Harrison closed the file slowly and looked directly at him, her gaze steady and cold, the same gaze that had unbalanced him on that deserted road. Officer Rogers, she declared, you believed you had the power to make people disappear. Today, the law proves otherwise. Her words struck like a hammer. You are hereby dismissed from duty, effective immediately, and will stand trial for your crimes. The gavel cracked against the bench. The sound was final, thunderous. The chamber erupted in applause. Some rose to their feet. The walls themselves seemed to tremble with relief. Bailiffs moved in. Rogers, pale and defeated, was handcuffed in front of everyone. His suit, his polished shoes, his swagger, all useless now. He lifted his eyes once more, desperate, almost begging. But the judge was already standing, calm and untouchable. Their gazes met for the last time. His was broken. Hers was absolute. She did not need to speak again. Justice had spoken for her. She turned and walked toward the exit. Each step echoed with the weight of finality. The door closed behind her, sealing the fate of the man who once believed he was untouchable. Outside, the afternoon sun burned just as fiercely as the day of the roadside encounter. Yet for Judge Harrison, it no longer felt oppressive. It was light breaking through. What had begun as an attempted erasure on an empty road had ended with a reckoning in full view of the nation. The same voice that had trembled with prayer now resounded like a verdict. Firm, cold, irreversible, justice had not only survived, it had triumphed.